and welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I can't wait to show you what's been going on in this grow room because that's what we're doing today. We're going to be doing a grow room tour. This is not going to be a long episode because I'm actually working on a really cool project outside in the garden, believe it or not. It's actually going to be a cold frame. So many of you have asked us to do a cold frame, and I don't know really why it's taken us this long to get one going because I love growing greens year round, and that's really going to allow us to do that. Some of our our super cold hardy greens are going to be able to grow even into the coldest part of winter now because of the cold frame. And so this is a project that I've been working on. I'm going to bring you all along for very soon on that. So that's why this episode is going to be rather short because I got to get back out there and finish. I wanted to bring you all along for these developments because it seems like every week something crazy happens when it comes to growth, when it comes to the indoor grow room. And so we're going to be doing these weekly updates so that you all don't miss a thing, because I know so many of you are growing along with us. There's so many of you that have sent in pictures, and I absolutely love it. Some super small setups, some setups that are even bigger than mine, and it's just really incredible to see everyone get excited about growing no matter if it's indoors or outdoors. So that's why I want to do these weekly updates so that those that are following along with this series can kind of just see the results that I'm getting and and kind of just share what we're seeing because it's so amazing. You know, when it comes to hydroponics, it's not organic. That's one of the biggest questions people ask is it organic? It's not organic. And the reason why hydroponics are not organic is because they are very readily plant available nutrients. So these readily plant available nutrients are synthetic nutrients that are created in a laboratory to be plant available. Naturally, what happens is plant material will break down, and then it gets broken down by mycorrhiza, by beneficial bacteria, by a process called weathering, which is just rain and freezing and thawing, and it breaks particles up smaller and smaller and smaller. And then once you get down to their smallest size is actually their elemental form. And that creates just, there's chemical bonds there, and those are broken, and things can be converted into nutrients, which are, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, what have you. That is actually broken down, and then the beneficial bacteria can actually create an association with the plant through mycorrhiza inoculation of the roots. And then the roots can receive the nutrients through those fungi. So there's a whole network going on. And because we're indoors and because we're growing in a water solution, that's not really possible. And so the benefit to growing, well, I guess if there was a benefit, I'd prefer to grow organically. Let me first be upfront there. I'd prefer to grow organically. So I don't love this method as much as I love organic gardening. But one of the benefits, if there was one, to growing hydroponically is that since everything is already plant available and it doesn't need any other help from the beneficial fungi or bacteria or weathering to gather nutrients, the nutrients are readily available right there at the root base, meaning the plants do tend to grow a whole lot quicker. So that's one of the nice things is that, if you're looking for an action-packed adventure, hydroponics is definitely action-packed. It seems like every day they grow, and every week they look like a whole different plant. So it's very exciting in that regard. So we were able to get all 8 bins set up. All of them have plants in them finally. And that did take a little bit of time because I actually miscounted how many blocks I would need. So we have some beautiful bib lettuce here, forming some really incredible roots. Look at that. That is awesome. So we got the bib lettuce there. And then we have some bronze guard lettuce. Beautiful root structure. Look at that. I love that. Just love that. The roots get so long in these hydroponic setups that it's pretty incredible. In probably about a week's time, you won't even be able to take it out. It'll be just a complete mass of roots. And then we have some romaine. The romaine's doing great. Still, it's forming a lot more little stumpy roots, but they're not growing as fast. And then some more bib. I really love romaine and Bib lettuce. It's just such delicious lettuces. And also the romaine that you grow won't have E. coli. So a quick note, the reason why there's E. coli on lettuce that you find in the grocery store is because many of those come from commercial farms. And a lot of commercial farms that grow lettuce are using waste from mammals. Mammals have E. coli, even you and I have E. coli in the digestive tract. And what happens is when you use the manure from mammals and you don't properly wash the produce, what can happen is little bits of soil and residue can end up on the romaine itself. And if it's not properly washed, that E. coli can transfer to you. And the thing is that the E. coli actually lives very happily in our gut and we don't get sick. But what happens is the reason why we get sick is because the E. coli ends up in our stomach and our mouth, which is not our stomach or not our intestine. And so our intestinal tract is fine because it's actually living symbiotically there. It doesn't affect us at all. It just actually helps to break down and digest the waste coming through. But when it ends up in other parts of your body, that's where havoc is wreaked. So, even homegrown romaine, one of the biggest questions we get on this channel right now is, I'm worried to grow romaine at my house because I'm worried about getting E. coli. Folks, the best thing you can do to prevent E. coli getting in your family's food is by growing it yourself. So and if you live on a farm, the only way you could possibly get E. coli in your lettuce is if you're using manure from cows, sheep, goats, pigs, a dog. I think I've hit a lot of them. Mammals. Mammals. So if it's a mammal, there's E. coli. And if you don't properly wash your produce and you use the manure from those mammals, you could get E. coli. We don't. We use just pure plant-based compost, and so we're fine. But most of you are growing the same way we are. And also, if the manure is properly broken down and it's heated up well and it's really been aged well, there's still not a problem there. It's just the fresh stuff you have to worry about. A lot of farmers will actually take the liquid waste and spray it on their crops, almost as a foliar application and then as like a soil drench. And so you get this fresh poop water literally going right on your plants. So that's what you don't want to be ingesting. So just thought I'd answer that question. Back to the update. Over in this bin, we actually have quite a variety of lettuce. And this is going to be really cool once this is all grown up because there's actually 5 different types of lettuce here. We have the tango leaf lettuce, which is one of our favorite lettuces of all time. We have a romaine lettuce here. We have this is a red oak leaf. It's called bronze guard. And then we also have a Bib lettuce. And then we have a red sales here. The red sales starts out green, and then it starts to get these little tinges of red. Absolutely love this lettuce. It's so beautiful. And then we also have some more of the same here in this bed, just different variation in pattern. We have some more immature plants. These were ones that I dropped in because I miscounted how many plants I would actually need to fill up all these bins. This was one of the bins that I mutilated with the hole saw there, so got that all fixed up, and that'll be fine. And then I have some. This is just black-seeded Simpson lettuce, some more romaine, a Bib lettuce here. I think this is another tango leaf lettuce and a black-seeded Simpson. So I got a different variety here, but as you can see, things are growing really great. Now for the moment you all have been waiting for, including myself, giant crimson tomato sprouts. That is right. We have giant crimson tomato sprouts. Now, I only have 3 giant crimson tomato sprouts. The others have not sprouted yet. I'm not going to go digging through there. That's the first mistake I've made and many other gardeners have made, is these things don't sprout and they start digging through them. That can cause damage on seeds that would normally sprout. So I'm just going to leave them because we do have sprouts.
meaning I haven't failed in the sprouting method. It could just literally be that the seeds are not super great at sprouting. I'm not sure. But regardless, we have one that actually has a full set of true leaves actually coming out already. I was apprehensive to do an update because there were so many not sprouted. I wanted to wait and see what was kind of happening, and we're calling it. So we have 3 sprouts here. I'm going to be starting more seeds because we're going to have 6 plants total. So I need 3 more. So behind us, you can see that other bin there. That actually has more giant crimson tomato seeds in it. We've got plenty of seeds left. It's just that's why I'm that's why I was holding my breath, because they took a while to sprout, and then it just seemed like one day they just popped up there. So we've got 3 sprouts. The variety is back. It is ready to grow, and I am so relieved. I can't tell you, the moment I saw that sprout pop up, my heart was actually a relief, to be honest, because it was very nerve-wracking not seeing anything for almost a whole week. So now that those are up, we're just going to let them grow and mature a little bit in their rock wool cubes. And then once they get a good root system forming in the bottom of them, we're going to actually transplant the whole thing, rock wool and all, right into a soil growing medium, and it's going to be off. So really excited. Can't wait to bring you all along. That's the grow room update. We're going to be doing a lot more as it pertains to the microgreen grow station as well. So stay tuned for that series. More is coming out on that. And if you are new to this channel, make sure to thumb this video up. Even if you are a regular here, thumb it up. It helps this video get spread around to more people. And also make sure to subscribe if you're new to this channel. We're going to be uploading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you to grow big or go home. And we'll catch you all later. See ya.